Hello, Keith Rucker here at VintageMachinery.org. Guys, today we are out in Morton, Mississippi at the Windy Hill Foundry over here with Clark Easterling. Got a little YouTube event going on out here with a bunch of my buddies. And anyway, we're going to be doing some foundry work, some molding, and some casting. I actually brought my little foundry furnace that I picked up recently that a viewer had sent to me, and we're going to be firing that up tomorrow and melting some bronze. And
we might do it tonight.
We might do it tonight.
We might do it tonight.
One way or the other, we're going to get some video of it. But I had sent Clark a pattern, and if you watch Clark's YouTube channel, you've probably seen this.
If not, subscribe and check it out.
I was about to say, if you don't watch Clark's channel, you need to go check him out. But he actually had a video where he had done some of these in the past. But this is a bearing for a Chattanooga cane mill.
Cane mill.
Yeah, so it's for grinding up sugar cane. You guys, if you watch my channel, you've seen me work on several of these. But this is a little insert, bearing insert, bronze insert that goes up into a cane mill. And he had one of them that didn't turn out, so we're going to basically remold it, and we're going to use my furnace so he doesn't have to tear down his cast iron setup to pour one little bronze bearing. So
yeah, and that's usually what I run into. When I do pour one certain material, it requires not only the molding bench setup, but the furnace settings as well have to be tuned and adjusted, and then everything has to be reverted back when I want to go back to iron. So anytime I get a bronze job, anytime I get an aluminum job, I try to get all those together and knock them out at once. And I got in a hurry and thinking I had a whole set of 4 when I only had 3 that were successful.
Yeah.
So.
And I've been looking for an excuse to fire my furnace up, so it's going to be perfect.
It's going to be fun.
So anyway, we're going to get in here. We're going to ram this mold up, and you guys get to watch the pour. So let's do it. So guys, what I've got, this is the 3D printed pattern that I made, and this section here is the actual pattern. And we got some interesting things kind of going on with this. First off, because of the way the pattern was, and it's kind of this arch, it was wanting to spread out. So I actually drew in the design some pieces in here to kind of help hold it together. We'll mold these in, but it's not part of the finished piece. These will be cut off. The other thing we did was we made this part, which is a follow board. Is that what you call it? Yeah, so basically, you know, we're going to mold the sand up around it. Normally you would cope out that inside, but we just made this block that fits down in there. And we'll put that in there, and we'll put the sand in on this side. When we flip it over, we'll pull this part out, and it'll be ready for the sand to go right in there. So it's just a little shortcut piece to kind of make the molding a little bit easier. At least that was the game plan. I hope that's the way it turned out. But we're going to start by ramming this up with some sand, and we're going to be using Petrobond. If you watch again a lot of Clark's videos, normally he uses green sand, which isn't green, it's black, but it's called green sand for other reasons that I won't go into. But in this case, we're going to be using a product called Petrobond, which is a sand that has some oil, and it's a little bit different type of sand, so it looks a little bit different. So we're just going to come in here, and
I would go about 2/3 of the way up.
Get that rammed up out there.
Hey, good.
Got Kay all situated. And a little bit of lunch.
yeah, so we're just going to come in here about, he said about 2/3 of the way up, so just a little bit more.
Yeah, we're using Petrobond for this one. Yeah, right.
Can we start ramming?
Yeah, use your other end and start. You mind if I
Yeah, go ahead. You tell me what to do. Yeah, tell me what to do.
All right. You're not really hitting at this point. You're more pressing the sand
Yeah, you're
down.
just kind of lightly at first.
Yeah, I usually turn it the other way to keep it parallel with the facial board, and I go all the way around the perimeter first, and just keep turning that with the side of your flask to keep it parallel.
Okay.
Yeah, there you go. And that tightens that up against the edge. And then once you do that, you can go every 2 inches. There you go. With that same pressure. And then as you change directions, you'll rotate this also, and you'll increase your pressure a little bit. And you don't have to hit it very hard. Once you'll be able to kind of get an idea when you're down far enough with it. Petrobond is very cushiony compared to the green sand. The green sand will get hard as a rock as you keep ramming it. Petrobond only gets so hard, and then you're just ramming for no reason. It just kind of pushes inside.
Keep using this side, or should I flip it over?
Yeah, you're fine. Let's check it here. That's probably good.
Okay.
So what I do now, well, we don't even have to worry about storing Petrobond.
Let's go ahead and pile it on up.
I got more sand here.
Okay. All right, that would probably be enough. I'm gonna just
Did your wife have a good time? There's more sand. While he's doing that, so we may do keys first just to do it and see how it's going to work.
all right, check that out, Clark.
That's good. I can tell by looking at it from back there. Oh yeah, you ought to smell it when it's on. Hold it like this.
Flip it over.
Yep.
You want to get this sand out or just leave it in here?
I just make sure I don't set it on top of it.
Okay. And the follow board came out, but that's fine. We're taking it out anyway. All right. Low pressure air here.
Yeah, with water. Low pressure water with air.
Okay.
It knows with the Petrobond, I don't cross-contaminate the sand, so.
All right, we're just putting a little bit of dust and powder in here. That just helps the parting.
Yeah, it keeps the coat from sticking to the drag.
And
we'll put this right on that edge.
this is a riser we're putting in.
Yeah.
And tell them what the riser does.
The riser is a reservoir that holds and retains molten metal. As the casting void shrinks, it has a source to pull from.
Right. So when we pour it in there, it's going to fill this up with metal, and then it will draw that
Right.
back in there. Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay. And I need to dust that?
No.
Okay.
No, that'll come out clean.
Put sand in?
Yes, sir. See how we got it laid out. If you disapprove.
So what's your name again?
Roger.
Come in the frame. Well, you can't get in the frame right now. That's all right. But anyway, Roger was actually in the Navy.
That's correct.
He was a molder in the Navy. And when was this?
1971 to 1970, very early 73.
Okay, so he was trained as a molder in the Navy, and he's out here supervising us today.
Well, I'm glad to have it.
You're teaching these things.
It's always an honor to have a fellow founder out here with us.
I promise you, I got plenty I can learn. I've done this before, but I am far from an expert. So
Well, I found out we never do learn everything there is to know about this. It's overwhelming.
all right, we're going to top this off here, guys.
This is a whole sand where the gotta do now.
Cut our sprue hole.
Yeah, we're gonna cut a sprue, and I would put it straight down right there.
Go ahead. Do it.
Well, you don't want to.
Yeah, I'm gonna let you do it, man. You know, you're the expert.
I'm scared I'm gonna hit the pattern.
You're fine. And are we ready to separate them?
Yes, we are. Remember to set it on edge. Wow.
So,
That's all right.
Wow, a good wow?
Well,
No.
It'll work. It'll work.
I didn't pack it as good as I should have, did I?
But I don't think it's that. I think the parting dust wasn't enough.
Oh,
But that's,
Okay.
it's fine. It's
Yeah.
fine. It didn't tear the mold in half, so we still got a good clean parting line that's going to go around here. That's all that matters.
okay.
So,
Okay.
yeah, we're good.
So we need to,
Yeah, we need to gently remove that.
This side.
All right, so this is going to be for a riser.
The top is the coat, the bottom is
you're going to cut a runner all the way down the front of that.
I'm not going to cut the runner
Okay.
up against it. I'm going to do
You're
like
going
a
to
little
feed
knife
into it.
gate.
Gotcha. You're going to feed in a couple of places then.
Well, I'm going to, like the riser has constant contact, I'm going to have a knife gate here that goes all the way across.
I gotcha.
I can do this without messing it up.
Yeah.
That's the trick.
This is gonna be made out of brass, right?
Yes, bronze.
Bronze.
Bronze, yeah.
You and I need to blow that, or
Yeah, I'd just blow that out. Don't worry about these chunks. Leave them
Yeah.
on there.
They using a different stand for this?
I had a little wrapping tool. I don't know what I did with it, but let's see if that'll just fall right out when you tip it upside down.
there we
What happened?
The whole thing fell out. I guess I didn't have it tack tight enough.
I see something, maybe it was stuff falling out, but.
Well, there you go, guys. That's how not to do a pattern. Well, guys, we remolded these patterns, and they came out just right this time, hammering them in a little bit tighter. Clark was telling me a little bit to be conservative on this Petrobond, but we hammered them in real good and tight this time, so no problems. But these are ready to put together. This is the bottom in there. There's my riser. There's my pour hole. It'll come right in here. Again, the riser will kind of just feed it up, and I got a little bit of sand in there. I'll just dump that out. All right, we're going to assemble these up, and we'll fire up the furnace here in a little bit, probably later tonight, maybe tomorrow, I'm not sure. And we'll bring you back and show you us pouring these. So we got our furnace fired up. This is the first time I've had it actually fired up. It's just hooked up to propane. This furnace is designed to run on either natural gas or propane. I think they change out an orifice or something in it, but I know that this one is currently specifically set up for propane, which is what we're running on. Got a tank over on the other side. And right now we're just kind of heating it up, and we're going to drop a crucible down in there in a minute and start melting, but we're just kind of getting the furnace preheated right now before we do anything else. So take a quick peek in here. Hopefully you can see that it's pretty warm. I think it's doing what it's supposed to do. Well, guys, changing plans. Looks like the regulator on this furnace isn't regulating properly, and we tried redoing the things up here using just a regular regulator on the propane tank, but because of the way it's plumbed in, it's just not working. We were able to get heat at the top of the furnace, but we're not able to get enough gas at the bottom of the furnace. Actually, this regulator here is not letting any gas pass through it, and we've taken it apart and tried to work on it and everything else without any luck. So looks like I'll be trying to find a new one of these regulators. Shouldn't be a big deal at all. I just can't find one out here in Mississippi right now. So anyway, we'll work on that at a later date. Right now, Clark is firing up his furnace inside the shop. We're going to melt the bronze in there. Really, my whole thing is I just want to try this furnace out. And yeah, a little disappointed we weren't able to get it to work just right, but that's just the kinks and dealing with, you know, troubleshooting. Not going to be a big problem to get it fixed, but it is going to keep us from using it tonight. So once we get some heat on this one in here, we'll do a pour and get that bearing done. And we're going to probably do some iron pouring tomorrow. So this is Clark's furnace. You guys have probably seen it in some videos in the past. This one is, well, it's kind of a hybrid. He fires it, starts it on propane, and then switches it over to run on diesel. And it's a furnace that will get hot enough to actually melt cast iron. The furnace I have won't get near that hot. It'll be fine for brass and aluminum and bronze, but he can melt pretty much whatever he wants to in this thing. So anyway, we're firing it up, and when we get it ready to pour, I got my mold right here, and we're gonna get that poured tonight. Putting some bronze down in the furnace there. He just drops it in to that crucible. It actually has some glass melted in there as well. And what happens is the glass floats on top of the molten brass, or bronze in this case, and it creates a barrier so the oxygen can't get to it to oxidize. Brass and bronze has a pretty high content of zinc in it, and zinc melts at a very low temperature. So by putting that glass in there, you're basically keeping the zinc in the bronze, and you're not vaporizing it, and basically just gassing it off. So anyway, we're getting our metal up to temperature. We should be ready to pour here very shortly. When it does come time to pour, I'm going to kind of explain what's going on before we do it. But Clark's going to pull the crucible out of the furnace. He'll put it over in his pouring ladle, or shank as it's called, and then he'll come over to the mold and he will pour it. While he's pouring it, I'm going to be taking a little stick there basically, and I will be pushing the dross, or that glass in this case, back and kind of keeping it from pouring out and contaminating the pour. That's the game plan anyway. So we'll be ready to pour here very shortly.
No. No, it isn't.
I was really supposed to look at it real serious, like it's okay, I don't speak Chinese. It's okay, we got all our safety coordinators in the back, just like any kind of government job. You're not safety coordinators. Healthy. Your guys is late. Means I'm gonna get right in the way.
See if I have to switch sides with it.
Okay. I'm going to be right in front of the camera. That'll be all right. That's it.
All right. All right.
Sorry guys, poor planning there. I didn't realize he was going to have to stand in front of the camera to pour, but by the time I realized that it was too late to move things around. But we just basically took the ladle there and poured it in the hole. Real high tech, huh, Clark?
Yeah, and I do apologize. I was not paying attention to which way the pouring basin was at.
All right, guys, we're going to break open the mold. Let's see how it did. Looks like a casting. Oh yeah. So I think that's successful.
On a scale of 1 to 10, 10 being the best.
What diamond is this?
It's about a 12.
Is it a 12?
No, it's probably not quite that good, but it's just,
So you'll knock these things off?
yeah. So we'll cut these off. We'll cut these off, and
What you need is this piece here.
yeah, exactly. It actually didn't fill in this little piece here, but that doesn't matter. We're going to cut it off anyway. So
Oh, it didn't fail?
no, it didn't fill that little front tab, but we were going to cut that off anyway. I think it's fine. You come look at it. What do you think? Well, guys, I am back from Clark's out at Windy Hill Foundry and back in my shop, and I wanted to show you the finished product. Customer I was doing this for wanted 4 castings made of this bearing for his cane mill, and like we had mentioned earlier, Clark had successfully poured 3 of them. One of the ones that he had poured, he considered a reject. So we recasted that one. I'm not even sure which one of these it is. We've cleaned them all up. They all look pretty much the same now. But we've got good castings here to work with. These are the new ones that we did. This is the original one that he had sent me to copy. And if you notice, there's a little cast iron cap that fits on top of this bearing. That's the original bearing that he sent me. The original ones did have a part number cast into the top, and I'll be honest with you, I couldn't figure out how to get that into my model in Fusion 360, so I just didn't worry about it. It's not a big deal, but I was able to draw these up, and I think we've got a successful casting here. So the little cap fits over these. You know, I would say it's not a perfect fit, but even on the original, you notice there's a little gap around it. These here are about the same, maybe just a little bit more of a gap, but I'm sure they can be ground out a little bit to get a better fit if need be. But these I think will work fine just like they are. Basically all you got is a set screw on the top here that pushes pressure down onto this little bronze piece up under the bottom, and it's just a kind of put some pressure on it, so I think it's going to work just fine like it is. Now, I'm not going to machine these. I don't know the exact size of the shaft, and honestly, when these came from the factory, they were more than likely you just got a rough casting, and with this bronze, this is not a very high speed, high RPM shaft. It's turning extremely slow RPMs, so it would just wear in over time basically, and it would just kind of eventually conform to the shaft, and that's just the way it would have been original, and that's the way these are going to be as well. But all in all, I think we have success here. We'll get these shipped up and in the mail, and hopefully he'll be happy with the job that we did. So guys, I think that is going to pretty much be a wrap on this video. I do want to give a big shout out, a big thank you to Clark Easterling over at Windy Hill Foundry. I don't remember if I mentioned this at the beginning of the video or not, but Clark had a little gathering out at his place this past weekend. There were several YouTube creators from around that came out to that, and we all had a great time. Everybody kind of got to do a little bit of foundry work, a little bit of molding. I finished up this job here. You know, I'll be honest with you, Clark struggled with his furnaces. He had some issues, and we were not quite as successful doing some cast iron pours as we had hoped for. But anyway, it is what it is. We did get the one bronze pour done, and you guys got to see that. So from that standpoint, it was a success. My furnace, I am going to get in contact with the folks over at Johnson Gas Appliance and find out exactly what I need to do with the regulators, and hopefully we can get that resolved. My regulator that even if I have to replace it, it's going to be pretty low cost, and we'll play around with it again some other time, and hopefully do some more metal casting around here at some point in time. While I was at Clark's, picked up some other castings that he had done for me. So these are some valves for a part that goes on a steam locomotive that I'm doing for a gentleman, and I've been waiting to get these back so that I can really get started on doing that project. Again, I had taken his original, modeled it up in Fusion 360. We 3D printed printed patterns, and Clark got these cast in bronze. Also picked up a couple of 12-inch straight edges. These are going to be for sale coming up soon. As soon as Clark can get some inventory in there, we will offer these for sale, very similar to my 9-inch straight edge castings that I've been offering to date. I've already have one of these that I've machined out and tested. Everything's great. I picked up 2 more prototype castings. We're just kind of making a few little final adjustments, but hopefully those will be coming soon. And another casting that I picked up from Clark was this piece here. This is the little bearing housing that goes on my Kearney Trekker lead attachment. That project's kind of been on stall for a little while because we've been waiting to get this back. Again, I took dimensions of an original one that somebody had sent me. I modeled it in Fusion 360. We 3D printed patterns. I sent those to Clark, and he had this ready to pick up when I got there from previous pour. And this is in cast iron, and we'll get this machined out and hopefully get back onto that that lead attachment coming up soon. So got some work to do from some castings that I was able to pick up from when I was out there at Clark's as well. Guys, with that will be a wrap on this video. As always, thank you for watching. Please subscribe to my channel if you haven't already. Those comments and thumbs up are appreciated. Hit that bell icon up there so that you get notifications when new videos are posted. And guys, we'll catch you on the next video.